Hey wholesome family, back at you with a really important video, and I'm about to cut a jackfruit and I didn't want to do this by myself. All right, so I decided I'd just come on and kind of talk to you about some of the benefits of this jackfruit. Okay, so this is obviously a jackfruit for those who know, and these come in much bigger sizes than this one. Okay, usually in the United States they sell it by pound, and I don't know, I think this one could have been somewhere around 7 pounds. Okay, but I'm notorious to be getting the big ones because I like when it lasts me a very long time. Okay, and this is nothing new to me. I grew up eating a lot of this. In fact, I grew up eating mostly fruits. So I'm pretty averse in how this actually works on the body, okay? But I'll also give you a little bit of background information for those that it can be helpful for. Technically, the jackfruit is used in many different ways. In the Caribbean, which is where I'm from, we normally do a lot of this. We just open it, we eat it pretty raw, okay, just like that, and that's just a meal. Sometimes it's being cooked. That's just when you cut it, you cook the yellow part. All right, it could be used for a jam. Okay, that's just when you boil it, you mix it with sugar if needed, a little bit of salt, orange peel, jam. You got yourself some jam. All right, the seeds, sometimes we would roast them or we boil them. That's just a meal. Okay, you could use it to make a paste, kind of like how you do like a hummus paste. You could have like a jackfruit paste. That's one other way. And the meat itself could make a wide variety of different dishes, right? So for me, sometimes I jerk them, sometimes I stew them, sometimes I curry them, right? Sometimes I use them to make burgers, all right? Another thing as well is the leaves. If you're anywhere close to the leaves or you have access to the leaves, you could be using that for tea. My grandma used to drink the tea a lot. That was just to help control like diabetes, blood sugar. It's very good in antioxidants, right? Rich in vitamins K, all right? And overall just very good for immune health. Okay, so those are some of the ways how jackfruit can be beneficial to you. This one, I bought it just yesterday, and already it seems like it's getting overripe. So I'm anticipating that when I go in, some of it, I'm gonna have to discard it. So it's one of the reasons I also wanted to make sure that I did the cut today, okay? And just a side note, I also feed this as well to my pets, okay? I have a lot of dogs and they actually love jackfruit, okay? So this is not anything that you can lose with, even though it's a little bit pricey, all right? I just dehydrate them, and I'll do another video showing you how that's pretty much done, all right? Dehydrate them, just give the dogs a pretty good V-snack, and we're good to go. All right, so usually when we're cutting a jackfruit, I like to use 2 different knives. If you're going to try to be using a glove, because it's latex, and latex is going to get pretty messy, all right? So you want to be careful how that's being done. And an old school way that we do it is we like to put oil on the knife, okay? And usually when I'm doing this by myself, I don't always do that, but for this video, since I'm trying to educate you guys on this, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use the oil. All right, I'm gonna oil my hands, okay, and then I'm additionally going to oil the knife, okay? And the purpose of the oil is just to help, like when the latex actually comes in, so that, don't do it this way if you're not a pro at it, okay? You don't want to cut yourself and then you blame the wholesome girl. All right, so I oil the knife, okay? But you could also just pour it. And guys, I don't use my olive oil or anything for this. Some good old cheap canola oil that you don't use to cook is perfect for this. All right. So I've added some oil. There it is. I'm just gonna go ahead. And this one is pretty sharp, so I'm not going to like be rubbing my hands like over the blade aspect. I'm only gonna be doing here. And this again is just to make sure that when the stain is there, that I'm able. So usually you can use like a smaller knife to kind of decide where you want to cut it. And for today's video, because I'm going to be winding up hydrating, dehydrating most of these, I'm just gonna do the whole thing. But if I wanted to just do a slice, I'll use a smaller knife. All right, I'm just gonna use my bigger one. I'm gonna chop it in two, okay? And I usually pretty much like the knives that have a wooden handle. Just a lot more easier to work with. And just as I thought, guys, this is jackfruit. These parts are showing you that a lot of it is overripe. Doesn't mean the fruit itself isn't good, okay? It just means on the outer side, at some point it fell, okay? So it's like battered. That's why it's like that. So if I taste it and the fruit is good, we'll keep going. And if not, then that portion will be discarded, okay? And you could see as well this jackfruit. Normally when you pick a jackfruit that's pretty ripened or pretty ready to be eaten, you would normally see a lot of stains in here, but this time it's not there. So this tells you that they picked it premature from the tree, okay? It still will be tasty, but it's going to go through a little bit more of a challenging process, okay? Meaning in terms of how some is ripening faster than the other is being green, all right? I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna cut this again in 2 more pieces. Like I said, I saved the seeds as well, boil them, may wind up putting them on the grill, roasting them. So if you see me doing something like that, then don't panic, okay? I'm not being quirky, just doing something that's traditional to me. Some of the jackfruits as well can be so big that cutting them can be almost like exercise, okay? I'm just gonna use my smaller knife to take the heart away, okay? And if you're trying to take the heart and it's a challenge for you in whatever way, then just do smaller pieces, that's fine as well. It eventually will come out. So we're almost there. We're gonna wind up seeing the part that's overly ripe here. So here is the part where it fell, right? So it's overripe, and we're not gonna use that part. We're gonna cut it off. So this was a pretty hefty portion that is shattered, all right? But that's okay, all right? I'll live with it. I'm gonna try to check on a few pieces that came out just to see what's going on. If it's good, we'll still use it because we don't waste stuff, all right? For instance, here, this one seems pretty good, okay? All right, so once you've taken off most of the white part, which is here, okay? I'm just gonna take it down a little bit more for those of you who don't know how to do this. Then it gives you a chance to kind of open up and access the fruit, all right? Here we go, ta-da. All right, so that is that, all right? Now, I pretty much use my hands to do most of it, but you could use a knife as well to do the remainder part, all right? Just to access the fruit. And this is just the fruit, okay? This is the seed, all right? I save the seeds, as I said, sometimes. I'm just gonna put them off to the side, okay? And these are going to be what I wind up using, okay? And little DIY thing about jackfruits, guys, is for those of you who don't know, I don't know what these are being called. I mean, I guess they're just strands. We used to call them the puppies in the Caribbean, okay? And from what I know and from my personal experience with those is that sometimes when you open the jackfruit, those pieces could also be overripe and you eat them because they taste so good, right? But when they are in the state that they're a little bit more on the lighter side, like the way how this one is looking, it just simply means it has, I guess, a lack of fiber, if you may. And this stuff is stuff that will definitely cause you to not be able to go to the bathroom for days, if not weeks, okay? Somehow it's a binder and it really does cause constipation. So that's something that you wanna be on the lookout for. Okay, so it doesn't become a thing. All right, and guys, if I were just eating this or just doing this for my own, really good. And this stuff is incredibly sweet and textury, kind of like eating a piece of steak, but different. Right? So it's really good stuff. If you want to use it in your stews, you're using it for cooking, then one like this that is not like super like ripe will give you the flavor that you're looking for. Okay, if you make it overly ripe, then of course then you're expecting that your stew is going to be sweet and sour, unless you want to make sweet and sour faux chicken or something, I don't know, faux beef. So this is how you would do it, right? And you just keep pulling it out, keep going. Take this part out. Process is pretty much repetitive, okay? Just gonna speed my way through now.
Pausa.
Guys, and this is just a complete powerhouse meal that you could have, okay? You could even drop this in your salads as well, okay? So I think I'm giving you at least 10 or 12 different ways how this could actually be eaten, okay? It's definitely a powerhouse. All right, so we're almost at the ending of this one, okay? So I'm gonna finish this off screen, guys, all right? Let me know if you've used jackfruits in any other ways, okay? Give me the ideas below. I mean, the jam is just amazing if you haven't tried it yet, all right? Just like, subscribe, share, all right? We're on our way to 1 million healthy subscribers, all right? So I hope to see you take the pledge in support of the channel by subscribing, and we'll see you again on the next one.